Hi, John. My name is Ash Singh. One of my best friends is one of the family owners of Walmart. How are you doing today?
Hi, I'm John Hodges, and I'm a member of the Smart Foodstuff team. We're
Mhm.
launching a new product called Fresh and Sure, so you can know your food is fresh and be sure it's safe. This is a food storage container, but not just any container. Our revolutionary product actually analyzes the food within, detecting bacteria, keeping you safer. Using our product, moms and dads can now check on the status of their family's food at any time, anywhere on their smartphone. Plus, it
Mm.
guards against nut allergies. And it works in shared workspace refrigerators too. You know how those
Mm.
can be little science experiments. With Fresh and Sure, moms get the critical information they need to keep their family up to 99.3% safer. Founded this year, though, this team has been working with Tupperware and spent 4 years and over $3 million developing this product. We own the key technologies, and our team is now free to launch this product using a direct market strategy. We have a
Mm.
4 year head start. We know what worked, and we know what won't. Our electronics and food storage units measure the food gases as accurate as any laboratory instrument. The operating system uses these measurements to monitor the condition of the foods stored within and report in a simple, understand format. We get it right 99.3% of the time. Double bonus, this product reduces food waste up to 20%. If we do this right, we will be in every one of the 118 million US homes with a refrigerator. The competition's been static. We are a revolutionary product. And man, this is a lucrative industry. If you ever wonder why anybody's into it, profit
Mm.
margins go up to 8,000%. And our average
Wow.
our customer lifetime value is over $1,000, and the average consumer margin is over 900.
Wow.
Smart Food Stuff is a qualified small business stock based in Orlando, Florida.
Okay.
Scalable by design. We have a product, we have a supply chain, we have distribution. We need to build a brand, and we're looking for angel
Mm.
investors so we can get up to and by the way, our angel investors can get up to $100 million in capital gains taxes excluded. Just ask me, how about that one?
Interesting.
Double bonus, our investors get to also increase food security and keep their food out of landfills. I'd love any feedback on this product.
Excellent. John, awesome. Awesome. Well done. We've had some great elevator pitches today, guys, and a different angle, right? And John, tell me about where's your accent from? Tell me whereabouts at. Tell me
I'm
where.
from Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay,
So
that's what I was assuming
I'm a
because I've
real
been.
proud. Yes, I don't think I have. I don't know.
No, no,
I
no. I like your accent. I was
well,
going to guess a Georgian, like, do you know what I mean? I've been there, but I've been to Orlando a lot. And, the
you know,
way you were speaking, coupled with, there was a lot of trust that I felt that you had developed, right? As you were talking about the different components, right? You covered a lot of different elements in terms of what you were doing. And, when you're doing an elevator pitch, and obviously, John, you've practiced, you've rehearsed, you guys will start to see the difference. But there's an element of confidence that and trust that's developed, right? As
mhm.
you were going through it. But there's a lot of information there too, right? There's a question from again, Michael's giving some great feedback today. One of the questions on the chat is, it would be interesting to understand your origin story, John. Why did John decide to do this? Why is John the best person on the planet to make this happen, right? So maybe you can share, John, why did you decide to do this of all things, right?
Well, basically, you guys know I've been working in weapon systems almost my entire life.
Okay. Okay.
And actually, I'm one of the few people that you'll ever meet that has actually worked on all three pieces of the nuclear triad. I've
Oh.
worked in nuclear underwater, subsea launched, ground launched, and airborne launched. I've worked on all of it.
Mm.
But I didn't want my legacy to be this.
Sure.
And I really didn't want it to be destroying things. And I'm telling you, it's very lucrative. They call me back. It's like the mob. They want you all the time.
Okay.
And quite frankly, my wife really is really under a lot of pressure because you have no idea what the government thinks of me and what they're willing to pay me.
Okay.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah. Okay.
And the truth of the matter is, I don't want that to be my legacy. I want to feed people. I work for SR International as a think tank, and
Okay.
we were taught to solve big problems, look for big problems, big solutions.
Mm.
And I started looking at food waste. I started seeing this, and this is really where we started into the industry. The original technology came out of right after 9/11 bomb detectors. basically want to do explosive detection. I mean, I'm just giving you the thing on this explosive detection. The
Yeah.
problem is the technology we use is too slow.
Sure.
Basically, people want to know if there's explosives. They want to know now because that's
Yes.
a pretty immediate thing.
Yes.
Well, this thing doesn't work now, but you
Yeah.
know what? If working in the time scale of food, it works just perfectly well. And that's why we went to this something a slower process, the slower chemical processes that are involved in foods. And that's really what we've come up with. And that's where we launched this product to try to save food, to try to increase food security. And we've gone to the consumer market because we realized after dealing with Tupperware, this is lucrative.
Yeah.
I mean, Tupperware is, when you're looking at your minimum profit margins in this business is the gross profit margin is over 500%. And most of them are going to 8,000%. You go into
that was a big number,
it's
John,
a huge number.
It's a huge number. So I was like, it definitely piqued my interest.
Yeah,
but it's been a while since I've heard 8,000%. So I think it could work really well in sparking the interest and be like, listen, I haven't heard 8,000 in a while. Let me just have another conversation with John. And see
so I can tell you, if you don't believe me, go into a Target, go into a Walmart, go into a grocery store, and look at how many square feet in there are dedicated to containers. Look at all the people in the container markets. If you don't believe me, just look at everybody that's doing it because they're going, hey, man, there's a gold mine here. Everybody has them. Everybody needs them. Everybody's got to store their food. They've got to do it. I mean, it's like a toilet paper thing. Everybody's got to have it. It's just something you got to have. You got to put your food in something. You can't walk around with it in your hands.
Yes.
So people,
I love that.
People have been working on this for years.
Yeah.
I mean, these numbers that I'm giving you, man, this is straight out of Tupperware.
Yes. And so when I think about this, John, as part of the elevator pitching process, one of the things that we like to do is we're a little unbiased to the startups that we speak to, right? John, you've been very involved with this. And, some people have been working on startup ideas for years. And so today it's almost 2022. Okay. It's almost 2022. When I'm listening to you, John, right? Here's how I'm thinking. I see somebody who's very credible, understands the industry, has been there for a long time. One of the things that I was thinking about in terms of the big picture, right? And our job, John, is just to give you more sound bites to think about where things are going, right? When I think about it, the refrigerator, okay, the evolution of the refrigerator had drastic improvements. And the refrigerator was invented 100 years ago, must have been an American invention, right? Seems like an American invention.
Believe it or not, where Albert Einstein made all of his money was in the refrigerator.
Oh, okay. So
he was in the Swiss patent office, and he, along with the other inventor of the atomic bomb, actually invented a magnetic compressor that's used all over Europe now. And that's where he made all of his money.
So we have, Michael has started by saying, we started with ice, okay? And then I guess like ice and salt maybe to preserve things. And then we have now come to this refrigerator, which is over 100 years old. I'm assuming, John, it's over 100-year-old invention, okay? And what's happened is the idea of the next product, right? The evolution of the refrigerator, which is probably what, $100 billion industry, refrigeration, okay, right? Because you're looking at this from a container perspective, John, and I totally understand why you're doing this, but I'm just presenting a different way of looking at it. And that is, when I look at what you're doing, the idea of creating a smart container that can basically eliminate the risk of allergies, food poisoning, okay, which is different, okay, and ensure higher amounts of nutrients in terms of what you're eating, okay, and at the same time lower food waste, right? And so as you were speaking, I'm thinking about the idea that everyone is going to have this IoT powered smart container, which is going to be the natural extension of every fridge. Okay. And so what happens is there's all this technology with Samsung, with smart fridges and all the other components. You are going to be that extension of what's happening there, right? So I was looking at it from the extension of the fridge and where that goes. And basically you're able to do all these components and essentially eliminate it, right? You said 99.3%, John, is that correct?
Yes, we're trying to get to 99.7, but it's a big step.
Sure. But you know what, when you think about that from, you know, the office food to your children and allergies and nutrients, right? This kind of touches upon everyone, right? Just about food nutrient, right? Eat. And recommendation, right? This is a multi, you know, there's just a multi-pronged huge opportunity around what you're doing here, right? And so that's kind of how I was looking at what you were doing, John. That's kind of my approach in terms of how I would see where this is going, because there's a different type of conversation, right? Because there is the container path, right? The idea that Tupperware should acquire what you were doing. The other option is, and you know, when you're building a startup, you just want to have as many different kind of pathways to success, right? You know, I'm curious about kind of that extension, right? About you know, how all these how all the elements come together from that perspective. So that's kind of where my brain was firing. What you're looking to raise some capital to get this going. You talk about building a brand, okay, right? Yep. You talked about that. Now, you know, it's very interesting, right? I want to build a brand. Obviously that requires a lot of money, and you have to, you know, package it in the right way. Do you want to elaborate a little bit about that, John?
Yeah, we're looking for, because we understand the most expensive money is always the earliest money. Yeah. So we're looking for only about $300K right now of angel funds to get us started. Now, the great thing, if you're an angel, come in as an angel investor, the way we've structured the company is, and there's some little things we've done, but as an angel investor coming in this company, they can get up to $100 million of capital gains taxes excluded. So if we go up and make a lot of money, basically the first $100 million that they would get would be capital gains excluded.
Got it. For the Americans that come on board. My question to you, and you know, Dustin, who is joining us from the Philippines today, you know, my thought process tells me that have you thought about the idea of just, you know, with the first, you know, couple of hundred containers, just crowdfunding and building something around that? This is something that, you know,
that's one of the reasons I'm here, Ash, to be honest with you, because crowdfunding works. There's no doubt about it. And this is a good combination. But, you know, no matter what, we still have to get the business right. And that's one of the reasons. And I have definitely looked at WeFunder. I've definitely looked at all of these, and crowdfunding, because it will allow us to step into it gradually, may be a real way of going, especially as we scale the e-commerce part of the business. Yeah.
Like Dustin, who runs Yoo-Hoo, John, he created a beautiful air sensor, right? My son has a bit of asthma. I saw his thing and I immediately bought 2 of them, right? You know, and now he's grown. He's, you know, had, you know, I don't know how many tens of thousands. He's actually in Best Buy right now. I was actually at a Best Buy in Toronto and I saw Dustin's product. I'm like, oh, I know him. So John, I want to map, you know, get those components going, because I think the $300,000 is a starting point, you know. But what I'm going to do, John, in the interest of time today, because we could spend a lot of time, I want to make sure we stay on time. May I do a pitch back, John? Please. Can I join the Smart Food Stuff team and pitch the concept from the position of refrigeration and the evolution of that? I'd like to present that, and I want to bake the components in, and I also want to see if I can bridge the gap with regards to crowdfunding as well, John. Is that all right?
Yep, please.
So, John, I'll leave it to you. You can kick off by introducing yourself, and then I'll jump in and give my pitch. So, over to you, sir.
Yes, I'm John Hodges, and I was born a poor Southerner. So.
All right, John, I know you're very successful now, which is why I'm speaking to you. But John, as you know, the food safety and food security is a big issue today. I've been in the industry for quite some time, and as you know, since the refrigerator was created over 100 years ago, there's a lot of nothing has really evolved, right? Fridges have become a little bit more smarter, a little bit more energy efficient. But when we think about food and food safety, it starts with the refrigerator, and nothing has really evolved beyond having some basic Tupperware. Okay. And so what we have done at Smart Food Stuff is we've bridged the gap, and we believe that we have now created the next generation tool that's truly going to revolutionize elements around food. And so we have a container that has all the right sensors based on the last 10, 20 years of research that we have. And basically, our goal is to, in 2022, eliminate the idea of allergies, food poisoning, making sure that everyone is eating nutritious food, and also reduce food waste for the average American home by as much as 50%. All of this is through this simple, smart container that we've put together. We have a great opportunity to launch this. We're going to launch a crowdfunding campaign to raise our first $300,000. And as a successful investor, John, my hope is that if I can get the 300,000, you can piggyback and match it dollar for dollar and help us reach the next phase of our business. I'd love to talk more over a coffee, John.
Okay, let me get that right. Okay, thanks. Okay, the crowdfunding piggyback was new for me.
Was it new?
Yeah, was so basically we're going to crowdfund this thing, and basically we're looking for people to piggyback the crowdfunding.
Yeah, what happens is in investment, right? Everyone wants a lead investor, John, right? Who's your lead investor?
Yeah.
So the way I look at it is very simple. Let the market be your lead investor. Very simple. We're going to launch a crowdfunding campaign, and John, you're going to connect with Dustin afterwards and learn from him and his success. And what's going to happen is you're going to raise your first 150, 300,000 through that process. Okay. Mm-hmm. You're going to have a very targeted campaign to the right audience. And these guys are just going to be like, okay, this guy was able to sell, couple of thousand units. I'm going to go in, and you cut that point, right? Because some investors use the fact that you don't have a lead investor as an excuse not to give you money. But this is the market. And you know what, John? It's zero equity too, right? When you do your crowdfunding, right? So the idea of creating those connection points is something that you can do. But the way I look at it very simply, John, is that your mission is to eliminate by 2022, why is allergies, food poisoning, and food nutrients still an issue? Okay, right?
I'm right. And by the way, I'll be pitching it in about 45 minutes. So I got to get. So
it's a good warm up for you. There you go.
I'm going to have to really modify this in a hurry.
No problem. But you get what I'm saying?
Oh no, no.
What is your mission? Your mission.
You basically say, hey, look, the big picture is where I need to open up, not the little picture. Open up with the big picture, because I'm starting from the little picture, then going out. You're saying start from the big picture and go down.
Yeah,
which is kind of a reversal of where I'm at.
And so we're, again, and you're hearing it from a different voice, John, right? Somebody else's voice. So, but that's kind of what we would look at it, right? And there's some great feedback, right? In the chat for you as well, John, right? Just in terms of thought processes and stuff like that. And, obviously there's different ways to kind of drive the conversation, but sometimes going big and bringing it down is a good way to kind of tell a story, John. Right.
Yeah. So by the way, if anybody wants to know what we can really save in food waste for the planet, it all depends on the product.
Sure.
Green leafy vegetables, we can take down from about 77% waste down to about 20% waste. But things like oranges is very little waste. So basically we don't impact it. So it depends on the product. But as a global thing, we basically, for most of grocery items, we can bring it down from about for as much money as you want to pay to it, from 23% down to as low as 1%. We can do that. But see, it all depends on how aggressive people want to be. It's all math, folks. We can actually show the math. So
yeah. No, and you're definitely credible, John, right? That's why we love you, right? You're definitely credible. You got all the right pieces together. we have to solve these components, and you know,
Oh, yeah.
if you just look at the pieces, the interest in what you're doing, this is touching a lot of different elements. And so what we need to do is, you know, I'm thinking about, even from a crowdfunding perspective, that right influencer, right? There's people that I think would really be interested in hearing your story and activating on your behalf,
So,
John.
so the answer is, for anybody that's asking about what happened with Tupperware, it's really simple. They got rid of everybody, and I have to be very careful with this.
Yeah.
They learned a lot. It's a lot for our credibility. That's why I put it in there.
Yeah.
We worked with them for 4 years, and what happened is basically Tupperware wasn't ready to become an electronics company.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really that simple, folks,
Yeah.
because they're container people, they're material scientists, and they're designers.
Yeah.
And we're electronics. And let me tell you, they just could not get over that. I mean, I struggled with that for 4 years.
But John, that's the beauty of it, right? You have people that decided not to evolve.
Okay? That's exactly what it is. They couldn't do it. They could not make that step.
Yeah. The people that went from cassette to CD, CD to MP3, right? You know what I mean? There were people that just didn't want to change, right? They were comfortable in their, you know, in their skin, right? Yep. And so this is where the disruption happens, John. That's the other thing, right? And I think that's why I brought up Samsung, because we've had this conversation, John, right? Samsung is a technology semiconductor company. Does that make sense? Right?
Well, the answer is that, and I'm not going to poo-poo your statement, but when you're looking at technology licensing in that space, you'd be surprised and phenomenally how little money you can make out of that. Sure. If we were to put it in every one of the Samsung refrigerators, and if you're looking at refrigeration, because the market, the way that they would be led, we would only get about $650 a year off this.
Understood. Got it. So
and
your
it's just,
distribution
it has to do,
plan,
well, it just happens to do because the way IP is licensed, and that's a very odd industry, but the way there's so many patents that these guys put on there, and they have to divvy the patents up so well. So if you start going through a patent valuation very quickly in that space, you'll find out patents aren't worth a lot of money from a license fee perspective.
So it's better for you to become the company itself.
That's correct. And that's exactly why we've done it. I mean, so there's, as these are legitimate questions, but there's also a legitimate answer that we've actually really done the work and found out like, there's no money here.
Yeah. Oh, I hear you. I hear you. You've looked at it. Awesome. But John, hopefully you found some value in this.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna, like I said, if I look like I'm going to be busy for the next few minutes,
no problem.
It's because I am.
We're always great to, you know, there's some amazing companies today, you know, if we think about all the people, Greg, you know, in the health space, John, love what you're working on, because, you know, we're also going to be saving some lives by doing this, right? You know?
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm sensitive to it. You're going to be going to England. You're going to be getting on an airplane, and you're going to be eating English food.
Yes.
God help you.
Yes, yes. So that's where I need it, right? Along with my Bose headphones, I need your box to take with me. So before I start eating anything, please put it in my smart food stuff. Let me inspect, and then I'll decide if this is happening, right? So
it is actually good. It is there. So yeah.
There are some people here on the chat that obviously are from the UK and are taking a bit of offense to English food, but that's okay.
Obviously,
we're just pulling your
leg.
leg.
Understand English food, you've not been to Florida.
Yes. So, but thank you again, John.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it.
Great stuff. And we wish you all the best. And